Hello BookTube, it's Joshua here, and I'm here today to do a little reading update video. It's been a while, and it's been about 2 months, and I've had BookTube in the back of my mind this entire time, and I've been feeling kind of guilty about not making any videos because I very much I want to continue to be a part of the community. But I just got a little bit busy with school and kind of also procrastinated with making videos a bit. But this is my attempt to just make a short video to get me back into the groove of things. And so yeah, I'm just gonna tell you what I've been reading. It hasn't been much actually. I'm not a very fast reader. So yeah, I've just been reading one novel, and that's The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. I've been reading this for the past 2 months essentially, and I'm about like halfway through. I'm on page 400, so I'm getting there. I just got introduced to NAFTA. It's very interesting. I really like this. I'm really enjoying this. I also feel like there's a lot that's going over my head, or a lot that it feels like it's very complex, and I feel like I'm gonna have to reread it at some point, probably some point soon, in the relatively in the future, not too far away, because I want to return to this and try to find more within it, and just enjoy it again because it's so enjoyable. Hans Castorp is a really likable character, a very relatable character. You kind of identify with him a lot. I also really like Herr Settembrini. I think Mann sometimes kind of makes fun of him, or parodies him a little bit, but at the same time, he parodies Settembrini in a very light way, and I still enjoy appearances from Settembrini in the novel, and I enjoy what Settembrini says. The second book that I've been reading is James Baldwin. This is his collected essays. I've been reading Notes of a Native Son. My brother, I forced him to buy me a James Baldwin book set, this expensive Library of America one, and yeah, I'm reading his collected essays, his nonfiction. I'm just in the I think I've gotten through 100 pages, and it's really good. Well, it's mostly based on the race problem in America. I believe James Baldwin was a figure in the civil rights movement in the mid-20th century, and so it's talking a lot about, for example, Harlem. It's also talking about Paris, but generally it deals a lot with race and the African Americans' position in America. But at the same time, there's also so much insightfulness in his, like as he talks about this subject. He's so insightful. He's such a convincing writer and a really skilled writer that so much of what he says also feels very universal. And that isn't to say that this topic of American racism and slavery or racial divide isn't interesting on its own, but also there's just so much in here. There's just so much depth, I feel like, and I'm really enjoying it. He's a really fun, not fun, well, fun, yes, but he's a really just fascinating and continually engaging and stimulating presence on the page. And also, I always read a bit of poetry. Sometimes I'll read. Sometimes I'll try to read through the work of a poet in chronological order, or I'll try to read through a single one of their books, or I'll just switch between different poets and kind of read whatever comes across my way. And this is well, I've kind of been doing the latter one recently, but I've been reading a bit of Bishop and a couple of other poets too. There's one poem that I wanted just to read to you guys just for the sake of it, and that is, where is it? It's a poem that I keep on returning to, and each time I return to it, I find more in it. When I first read this poem, it's called Paris, 7 a.m. This one, that one there. And when I first read it, I was very confused by it. I think it's a very subtle poem, and I didn't really understand what was going on at first. But the more I turn back to it, the more it becomes clear, and the more I enjoy it. So I'll read this to you guys. I make a trip to each clock in the apartment. Some hands point histrionically one way, and some point others, from the ignorant faces. Time is an étoile. The hours diverge so much that days are journeys around the suburbs, circles surrounding stars, overlapping circles. The short half-tone scale of winter weathers is a spread pigeon's wing. Winter lives under a pigeon's wing, a dead wing with damp feathers. Look down into the courtyard. All the houses are built that way, with ornamental urns set on the mansard rooftops where the pigeons take their walks. It is like introspection to stare inside, or retrospection. A star inside a rectangle, a recollection. This hollow square could easily have been there. The childish snow forts, built in flashier winters, could have reached these proportions and been houses. The mighty snow forts, 4 or 5 stories high, with standing spring as sand forts do the tide. Their walls, their shape, could not dissolve and die. Only be overlapping in a strong chain, turned to stone, and grayed and yellowed now like these. Where is the ammunition? The piled up balls with the star-splintered hearts of ice. The sky is no carrier warrior pigeon, escaping endless intersecting circles. It is a dead one, or the sky from which a dead one fell. The urns have caught his ashes or his feathers. When did the star dissolve? Or was it captured by the sequences of squares and circles? Circles? Can the clock say? Is it there below, about to tumble in snow? Yeah, so that's Paris, 7 a.m. And I admit, I don't even understand all of it at this point. My favorite part of the poem is the second stanza, where she's describing the courtyard, and it at first seems kind of like a very empty and gray courtyard, which is the courtyard of the present moment. But then there's this line, this hollow square could easily have been there. There being, I believe, a childhood memory. Suddenly she talks about the childish snow forts built in flashier winters, and so it's just I love it because it's this wonderful recollection of looking inside a courtyard and then remembering a snow fort built when you were a child, and comparing the two together, and it just I just find it moving. Yeah. Anyway, that is all for today. Thank you for watching BookTube, and goodbye.